Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Bevarse Batch. It's been a minute, but we are back with the review of Rajinikanth's Jailer movie. And I think this will be mine, and Sai's first time reviewing a pan-India movie. We did KGF 2, but that was a long time back. So, or not pan-India, I guess technically pan-India, but non-Telugu movie.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
not like
not first
it wasn't
non-Telugu.
released in Hindi, right? Jailer?
No, I think it was. It's just like who's gonna
Okay.
watch it in Hindi? Made like not much, but
Okay.
this will be
Okay.
our first non-Telugu movie review together. So if you guys like this stuff, let us know, and we can do this stuff for Joanne and stuff like that too. Honorary Tamil movie, but yeah. So I guess we can start off with positives, negatives, quick one-word summary or one sentence summary. But I can start off with just like a sentence. I liked this movie. I have good feelings towards it. I think it's Rajinikanth's best movie since Robo, right? I mean, he's had like a pretty up and down road since then, but I think this was the first movie in a long time. Not Kabali Goda Nachindi, like I actually liked Kabali, but I think this one just gave me full satisfaction.
hmm
But that's my one sentence summary, so you guys can talk to.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's his best since like back then, Robo. I liked some of his other ones. I know a lot of people didn't like Beta, but I liked Beta. But his other ones were terrible, like Darbar, and I didn't even watch the one that he did with Kirti Suresh, like the sister
Annate.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
I couldn't watch that. But I know he's had a lot of shitty movies come out since he came back. But this one definitely like I was satisfied with it, like you were saying.
I saw a post on a subreddit. There's a picture of Kirti Suresh with Chiranjeevi. On the bottom, it's a picture of Kirti Suresh with Rajinikanth. So Bola Shankar and Anate. It's like
Yeah.
the lucky lady who gave industry disasters to two of the biggest superstars.
Oh my God.
Ebola Shankar and fucking Annate. Yeah, I mean, I watched that shit. It was like a serial, right? So it's like Varsu level bad. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought the movie was good. I was really hesitant trying to watch it because I know Nelson's last movie was terrible. So they proved us wrong
Wait,
with
did
this one.
Beast come first or did Doctor come first?
Beast came last year, and Doctor came I think 2021.
Okay, okay.
You just answered his question in like the reverse way. He started off with Doc. I actually think Nelson's a very good director. Coco is really good. Doctor, I thought was pretty good. Coco's his first
I like
movie with
Doctor.
Nainatara, and then Beast. The thing is, whenever a superstar gets involved with a project, I don't think it's like it's very hard for a director to accommodate. Especially Vijay level, like fucking the Tamil Mahesh Babu. It's his third movie.
I would
He
say that.
probably had to do
Hard
so
time.
many elevation things and stuff you hadn't had to do with Nainatara and Sivakarthikeyan, right? So I don't think it's on him, but yeah,
Yeah,
fully
I
on
mean,
this.
even Beast, like I think a lot of people why they didn't like it is because they had expectations of it being a full blown serious like um terrorist, like that type of a film.
Yeah,
But when it turned out to be like very like comedic and like not serious at all, and even the villains were like stupid, like they weren't like
yeah,
actual terrorists in like a realistic movie. I think that's what turned a lot of people off. But like I didn't go in with those expectations, and like I ended up like liking it to a decent amount because I saw it at home on Netflix. Like I didn't
yeah,
go out to the theaters and have expectations and stuff.
yeah.
But
Same.
yeah, I thought it was like not bad. It's like all right. It's like whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's better than Varsu. Varsu or
Oh,
whatever.
100%.
Much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess now we can talk about. So you start with negatives or positives first? Do you want to be in a good mood or start with bad mood today?
We'd start off with positives.
Positives.
Start off on a
Okay.
good.
Okay. So I guess I can start. Malina de Agustin. I will redo the cycle. I like the comedy. I
Mm,
think Nelson's strongest point is the dark humor, and like I thought Yogi Babu and Rajinikanth's chemistry was so funny. Like even people we watched Telugu dubbed actually, so we're gonna get probably hate for that. But we watched Telugu dub. But even then, I think the comedy translations all worked out perfectly. And our theater had like such a big reaction when Yogi Babu showed up. Like they recognized him. He's like one of our own now, right? So I thought the scenes with him and Rajinikanth, they make something like Rajinikanth murdering two people, literally beheading them, humorous. And I think like that takes a strong skill. And then, stuff like with Jafar, the shorter guy, and like Rajnikant dancing in Kavala. Like there's just so many like funny moments. And even with the grandson, he's not there for too long. But like the chemistry with him and the Bodordu, like with the carrots in the beginning, it's very funny. And I think that definitely works because I mean no one's used Rajnikant's comedic timing well recently. And Yogi Babu and like there's really good chemistry with the comedians. And even Varma's gang, like those guys, whenever they dance to the fucking song, it's just blowing up on TikTok now. The trend I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, so comedy, like for me, I couldn't give it a full positive or like a full-blown negative because it was like 50-50 for me. Like it didn't like not all of it hit me. Like I definitely liked the Yogi Babu stuff. I thought that was probably the strongest like comedy point of the whole movie. Like they tried a lot of things, but I thought that was the strongest one. And the other stuff like was like some of it hit me, some of it didn't, and I was like indifferent towards it. So I couldn't put it completely in positives, but it's also not like a negative, like, oh, I didn't like the comedy. So I'm just like 50-50 on it. But one main positive like that I'll bring up, I know like we're all gonna probably say this, but like Anirudh was, other than Rajini being the star of this movie, I think Anirudh was like the second star of the movie. Like this guy like completely crushed the BGM and the Hukum song. And I didn't like Kavala or whatever for the Tamana song, but it blew up everywhere and like people love it. Um, yeah, Anirudh like crushed it. I think he like outdid himself with this movie.
Yeah, I agree with all the positives. I thought for the first half it was complete comedy. And it was like one gut punch after another, so I thought it was really good. If I had to say something else, it would be the inclusion of the three, I mean, I guess spoilers or
Yeah, spoilers. It's been
okay, yeah,
like
spoilers.
right?
So inclusion of the three like superstars like uh is Shivraj Kumar, right? And then Mohanlal, and then was there another one, right?
Only
Or
the
The hero.
oh Jackie Shroff. Yeah,
Jackie
yeah.
Shroff, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait, don't call Jackie Shroff a superstar, please.
Okay, yeah. Well, the Shivraj Kumar and Mohanlal scenes were pretty cool. I thought. I think they were trying to get Balakrishna as well, if I remember correctly, because Shivraj Kumar and Balakrishna are good friends, but that didn't work out. But it was pretty cool seeing all the three heads of the industries coming together just for Rajnikant.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Especially like in the climax. Like that was also another point of mine, like positives wise. Um, the hype scenes in this movie are like very hype. Like in the climax, like when all three of them come together again, or like interval and even that post interval like of young Rajni, like yeah, his like getup wasn't like the best, but like it was still hype. Like the scene itself was like pretty hype. And like I know like our theater had a huge reaction when that scene started going on. So I really, really loved the hype, like the elevation moments were peaks. And partly like a lot of big reason of that was because of like Anirudh's background music.
Yeah, yeah, I liked watching all of them, especially Mohanlal, because it's like you don't usually like. I don't remember the last time I saw him in like a mask getup. I know a lot of his movies. He does like one really good art movie, and then he'll follow it up with some Rota commercial bullshit, right? Like, but like he actually was used properly, better than most of his mask directors used him. And Shiraj Kumar was crazy. And then Pujula, like it's first time seeing him ever in a movie, and like I was already a fan. This is a screen presence. I thought he was better than Mohanlal and his cameo because like he just had this crazy intensity that Mohanlal was missing, and it was my first time seeing him, and I was like, wow, this guy is insane. Like I gotta watch his movies when I get home. And his brother was dope too.
Wasn't he the villain in Balakrishna's new movie?
No,
One of
no, that was some random like Kannada dude. I know what you're talking about. Veerasam Reddy, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that wasn't him. It was I forget his name, but he's in the same industry. He's also
He's
Kannada.
also like a big star, like in
Yeah, yeah, he's a big star. Yeah, his role in that movie is hilarious. He's just a
Control.
cock, like straight up cock. But anyways, yeah, I like that scene. I think it actually comes at a crucial time, and they're going to like by the time we get to the climax, like this is more on the negative side, but a lot of like unnecessary shit happens. So the climax actually ramps your energy back up. I think it was the perfect place to put it. Even the origami tissue box, I thought that was pretty cool. Just a nice callback to the beginning. But yeah, I mean, my pros are like Rajini, right? I think we haven't mentioned it yet.
Yeah.
He just lit up the screen. Like this is a performance he could do any day, but he just absolutely killed every single frame he was in. He just made it his own. And even in the ending, I like the way the movie ended a lot. This is one of my positives. Ended on a very dark tone, because the whole point is we know like he's
Spoiler,
ruthless.
spoiler.
We already this is a review of the movie. Spoiler
Oh,
regardless. Yeah. It would have ended in 5 minutes if it was non-spoiler, but anyways, when he kills his own son, right? Approach and like the BGM and the way you see his face is just very unexpected. I didn't expect the movie to end that way, but I'm
Mhm.
glad it did. I'm very glad it did. And it just goes to show he's ruthless, but he's also fair, right? He's a nice guy. He's very kind, but he's also fair in his judgments. I then messaged him what the movie, and then they close it off with that same message, which I thought was cool. Like I thought we would have like Hokum playing at the end credits, but we had like a BGM, like emotional song playing as we all walked out of the theater, right?
Yeah.
So it was just good to see that it started off like with that hype, but ended very mellow.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll talk a little bit about like the whole sun stuff, like when we get into negatives, because there was some stuff that I didn't like with that, but we'll get into it. I
Yeah,
mean, for my positives, like that's all. Like I think we covered everything. Like Anirudh, Rajini, the hype scenes, like the interval and post interval, like those are my biggest positives. But did you guys have anything else that you want to talk about for positives?
I just wanted to touch on also like speaking of the comedy, like I thought in the first half his equation with Ramya Krishna was actually pretty fire as well. Like it wasn't just him and the grandson. Like I thought him and Ramya Krishna had a lot of funny scenes as well. So I appreciate that they got like her in as well. They could have just got some random person.
Yeah.
yeah. I'll talk more about Ramya Krishna later, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, one last positive is just the hype scenes, like you said once again on paper. Like we could just list off all of them, but I think one of my favorites is when Varma, like in the interval bang, when he thinks all those people are there to kill Rajnikant, but then they start walking towards him, right?
Yeah.
The
That was
Punjabi
really,
people, yeah, the
yeah.
rowdies all across India, like they
Yeah.
start walking with Rajnikant is just such a sick scene.
Yeah. The way
Um,
they shot that was really cool. Like it was like
yeah,
with the smoke coming out and everything, like
yeah,
it was cool.
and I really like the truck scene when the truck flips over and the doors close.
Climax?
Not
Oh,
that
oh,
too, but I'm talking about like the
I know what you
bang
mean.
when
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
doors
Yeah,
close and then the Hokum BGM comes out. Rajnikant's just staring. Right, it
yeah,
was sick at it, and then the one where he's wearing a suit, the Jujubee sequence,
yeah,
like when you find out it was like a ploy,
yeah,
a setup scene, like it was just really good.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I could keep listing off shit like that, but that was basically my positives. I
yeah,
agree with you. I would carry the movie to a next level.
yeah.
And it's crazy how much impact he makes. Like I'm trying to think if this movie had mediocre like thumb and BGM, and it probably wouldn't be as good.
No, I don't think it would have been this hype. Like even the hype scenes, a big factor. Like the scene itself is hype, okay, but let's say you throw some like random like Akanda BGM back in the background, it would not have been the same impact as
Yeah,
like the Underwood BGM. Like even in the first half, there are a lot of moments like here and there where like when the scene when he's like beheading the two guys like in
yeah,
outside the van, right? Like the BGM plays, he takes the knife out and like cuts him off. It was like it's a pretty like dark scene because they show the like had like flying off and everything, but
yeah,
like it was hype because of the BGM. Like it took it to the next level.
yeah. No, I agree.
Also, one thing I think Rajini actually like his like look and style was really nice. Like I thought he looked really suave for his role.
Yeah. No, I yeah, his wig was good in this one.
I'm glad he didn't have a heroine. That's another positive I totally forgot about.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, age appropriate role I think is huge. Like Ankit kind of hinted with the outfits and stuff. Like he played his age. I mean, obviously the fights and shit, but that's a given. Right? We have to have some sort of hero disbelief. But the fact that he played
He
his
actually
role,
didn't fight like as much. Like if you think about it, like
that's true. Yeah,
he did some kicks and some punches and like that was it. Like it was a lot of him just walking like
yeah,
to the
because
fight.
people
And
did the
then
work for him.
yeah, because
Like
his yeah,
his,
exactly. The four or five guys that were like snipers or whatever,
that's
like they
true.
did all the work for him.
Actually, yeah, the only fight scene I can think they didn't show us the first fight scene. Carlo, like he kills people,
Yeah,
right?
they didn't show us that. No,
They
they
didn't
didn't show
show
us
us
that.
that. And the ending, he just kicks Varma
That's it.
with the car roll, and then he beheads them, but that's with a sword. Like he just moved. Yeah, I don't think there even is a
He
full
doesn't
blown
have a
fight scene.
full blown fight scene like with like
Yeah,
10 guys in him. Like he doesn't have
that's
that.
that's even better than I mean, it's an age appropriate role, and I think that's really good, and there was no stupid songs. Like
Yeah,
Kavala was like I think like a marketing gimmick, and it worked because every
yeah.
dude in India went to go see Tamanna in theater. But like, I'm glad there was no duets. I'm glad there was no nonsense with him and Rami Krishna, no romance scenes, right? So I
Yeah,
think that was perfect. They can't look at him with fucking like what was it Nayanthara and Anate? Like that's brutal
yeah.
for someone.
No, it was Nainatar and Darbar.
Oh, and Darbar is
Oh,
Nayanthara. Yeah,
that's so bad. Yeah. But yeah, I guess now if there's no more positives, we can talk about the negatives. So you
yeah.
guys can start. Yeah.
Um, okay. Okay. I do have like quite a bit of negatives, but there's like some big ones and then like some small ones that I also noticed that don't really take away that much. But like the biggest negative that I saw in the second half was it just took a deep dive and kind of like sets you in a lull for like a solid hour. Like the whole time the Sunil stuff is going on, like with him and like the whole film background that they were doing. Like all that stuff, they attempted a lot of comedy there. This is why I was like 50-50 on the comedy because I don't think anything in the second half comedy wise really hit me that much. Maybe once or twice, like something that Sunil said, like got like a smirk out of me, but like nothing like a huge like laugh out loud type moment. And that was like my biggest negative because the whole first half you're kind of going on one vibe and then the second half completely like takes you down and almost like puts you to sleep until the climax and then it brings you back up again. So I really did not like how like inconsistent it was in terms of like pacing and whatnot. Like it just will go super slow in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. Like there's like completely like a halt to the him and his son backstory because the Sunil moment, the comedy scenes with there with Tamanna and Redding Kingsley and
Yeah.
the movie is just like it could have ended much sooner than it did. There's just a random fluff added in.
Wasn't it like 2:45 or like how long was it? Almost 3 hours, right?
I think so.
They
And
could
there's
have
a good
easily
amount that could
cut
have just been chopped off in the second half.
30-40 minutes easily they could have cut out.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I didn't like the Sunil track at all. And
yeah.
I like Sunil a lot. I'm a huge fan, and I was glad to see him casted. I'm still glad people found him funny. Like I think given his potential, he just played like a very like over the top, like loud role. And that whole track, I think it was some sort of satire aimed at some director in the Tamil industry, like or some hero. Like I'm sure it was a reference to something I'm not educated about because there's no way it's not a reference. Yoda, like it's probably
The
based
next
on a true
moment.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I heard it's like based off MJR or some shit, but I just like hated like the first half ended on such a good high, and they reveal the son was alive. In the second half, there's a random heist, becomes a heist movie, and I was like, what? It just seemed like Nelson just completely lost his mind and didn't know what to do. Because realistically, the movie could have just ended with Rajinikanth killing Varma there and then close, right? There's no need for it to be a 3 hour movie, but the heist part was just really annoying. Um, and it just felt random. The Tamana scenes, all that didn't work for me. And I didn't Redden King's case, he was supposed to be gay. Like I don't understand. He was just so weird to watch.
Is that the guy that was the assistant director?
Yeah, the
That guy?
short guy
Yeah.
who like had
Yeah,
yeah, I
dude,
don't
that
yeah.
that character was so weird. Like I don't know
Yeah, I
what
didn't
they were doing with
get
that
the
kid.
point if he was gay. Like I straight up didn't
I don't know
understand.
what I thought maybe he thinks that's comedy, but that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
that was just weird. Like it wasn't
yeah.
funny. It wasn't even a whatever. Like they're attempting something like whatever. It was just weird. Like
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that track was honestly so dumb, but I know a lot of people liked it. But in my personal opinion, it just was the heist and everything felt so unnecessary. I just wish they did something else, maybe, you know, in that, but I can't even suggest anything because his son shouldn't have even been alive, honestly. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I'll get to that later, but
yeah, I
that
was
was
gonna
my
get your
biggest,
thoughts
yeah, that
also.
was my biggest negative is that first 30-40 minutes after the interval where they're just thumbing the track and the heist. And I was like, yeah, but like, why do we lose that steam, from that first half? But
Yeah.
you guys
No,
can go ahead.
straight up, I think Nelson just did not know what to do. Like he was like, I have a 30-minute block here. What do I need to write? Let me just fill it up with some random shit. Like put some random like comedy in it and like it'll work or it won't work, whatever. Um But yeah, I mean, Ankit, you can go because I mentioned like one of my biggest ones.
Yeah, I just don't think the son relationship was something that like I know they had one song, like a montage, and then what's it called? Like they had the whole emotional scene in the beginning, but in the second half, I just didn't like when the son turned out like that twist of he was actually the bad guy, and then like it just felt so stupid. Like there was no need for that to happen, in my opinion. It just went against everything that was established prior. Like Akil said, I appreciate that they ended on a like negative note or like a sad note because of that, but it didn't need to be there in my opinion.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So since you brought up the Sun stuff, like I'll say like the thing that I thought was really like just like not didn't work for me at least. I didn't think that twist of him being like a bad person like worked at all for me. Like I thought it came out of nowhere and like there was no setup for it. Like a good twist is something that like you see the twist happen and then when you think back on the first half or whenever you're like, oh, like I can see how that character would suddenly behave like this, like I can see where that twist came from. But if you look back on it, there's no reason for you to believe that the sun is bad. And it's just like it just felt like a little like a gimmick, like, oh, okay, let's make the sun bad, like that'll interest the crowd maybe a little. It wasn't a properly set up twist. And there was also no time that the audience spent with that character, like especially through the first half or like even into the second half until we find out that he's bad. Like, yeah, like Ankit, you were saying, there was like one montage song that was it. And then he gets kidnapped and then you never see him again for until the second half. And then all of a sudden you find out he's bad. So that's why I thought like that son character just did not work for me at all. Like I wasn't able to buy into that emotion. Even at the end, like when he like has to kill him, it's like okay, like yeah, he killed him, but like I wasn't like, oh man, like he has to kill his son. Like I didn't feel like that depth of emotion from that. That's why like the whole son character like did not work for me.
Yeah, and also Ramakrishna literally says you raised him to be so strict and upright. That's why he's died. And I'm
Mhm.
like, it doesn't make sense that he's corrupted. They should have, like you said, they should have shown signs. Maybe, the first conversation he has with that middleman, like in the coffee shop, the restaurant up to the third floor. He should have like maybe shown some signs of corruption then.
Exactly. Yeah, that
But
one scene. Yeah, yeah,
because that's the only time we saw him interacting with the bad guys, and even then he was just giving build up to Rajnikant. So
yeah,
we didn't even, generic character. And I thought one of my biggest complaints, you mentioned Ramakrishna. I think Ramakrishna is a complete waste in this movie.
yeah,
Not
100%.
that like I dislike her, but she's wasted. The daughter-in-law is wasted. The son is honestly wasted. The grandson, who I thought would be a huge part of this movie, has his like 2, 3 scenes with Rajni, and then he's gone. Yogi Babu disappears after a certain point. Um, it's just a Rajni show through and through. Nizam Japalante, like that's why we went to the movie. That's why we like it. But there's really a lack of strong characters besides him. Even Varma is just a one-dimensional villain. Like I liked him. He was over the top. He was funny. His sidemen were funny, but he offered nothing new. It was like kind of like Shiva Reddy and Racegoram, that type of Tera villain, like over the
Yeah,
top, overacting villain. But like
yeah.
there was just no basis for any other character to exist, honestly.
That's the thing. It's
Uh,
like I think the only thing that was like the saving grace of the movie was hype from the stars that were in it, like Raj,
exactly. Yeah.
Mohanlal, and what's the other guy's name? The third guy.
Shivraj Kumar.
Raj
Yeah.
Kumar. Like the hype from them three was really the only carrying factor. And
Mhm.
obviously, like everything else, like the script itself, it had no dumb in it. Like the script did not have any dumb in it,
Yeah.
and the characters inside that script did not have any like relevance to the story at all. It was just hype factor and high BGM. Like that's what carried the movie.
Exactly. And even the psychiatrist sequences made no sense to me.
Yeah. Again, that
Even
was an
that's
attempt at comedy, and it was like
yeah.
I did not find that funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still like the movie overall. And I'm not chindi, and I know I said a lot of things like there's no depth and stuff like that, but this is one of those movies where you go in expecting that. You're not going in expecting like a layered movie with complex characters with complex twists. You go in expecting a superstar movie where he's playing his age and you're entertained. That's the biggest thing, entertainment. And luckily, the actor, the leading man, is good enough to entertain, even if all the other characters don't have depth. That's the power of Rajnikant. But yeah, I mean, it's just a negative just because you have such strong actors like Ramesh Krishna, and the guy who plays his son is apparently a really good actor.
Mhm.
But I thought he was very bad in the movie. Like his
Yeah,
face just looked
Dude,
numb.
he had no emotion in his face at
Yeah,
all. Like
nothing.
the
But I
dialogue he said
heard,
was just like nothing. Like he was just
yeah,
reading off lines. Like that's how it felt
yeah.
like.
yeah.
I heard he's
Usually he's in like
amazing.
very serious movies. So like as soon as I saw his face, I was so confused as to what he was doing in this movie. So I thought maybe they would utilize him in a better way, but they just completely ruined his character.
I
Yeah,
don't even
I mean,
think Ramakrishna left that dining table. The daughter-in-law and Ramakrishna, they
it
they
was,
just sat at the dining table the whole movie.
their scenes were either at the dining table or that psych office. Like when they were there,
Yeah,
I think those
exactly.
are only two locations that they were at.
Yeah. And they're seated at both locations. Like exactly, they're just sitting ducks. And then they should have brought the grandson in at the end, done something cool with him, maybe vlog, like use that vlogging to catch his dad's corruption or something like that, you know? Like
Like a story
just
point or something.
yeah, just something cool. But yeah, I mean, once again, I just think there's very little depth. And I think the Sunil track was there's a loss of direction, but the climax just, you know, no matter how much you hated the whatever happens before the climax, there's just something very sick about seeing all three of them light up a cigarette, you know, while something as crazy is going on. Like Shiraj Kumar, snipers, Mohanlal, three trucks,
Yeah,
Rajinikanth about to do the, you know, with the glasses.
yeah,
But that that literally just revitalizes it and saves the second half from being just straight shit show for me.
yeah. I mean, the second half like starts off strong, like with that post interval sequence of young
Yeah,
Rajini, and then for an hour it takes a huge dip, and then it comes back up in climax. So that the
yeah,
whole second half is like that pretty much. Like if they just deleted that 1 hour, then it would have the movie would have still ended the way it did. Like
yeah.
to be frank, like the movie still would have ended the way it did, even if they deleted all the heist stuff, like all that
Mhm.
stuff.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, do you have any more negatives on Keith or Sai? I already said mine. Can't
I
think of
think I
anything.
said like all of mine. Rami Krishna, I agree with you. Like I had that as my negative too. Like she was definitely a throwaway character. No
Yeah,
reason to
straight up.
get someone like Rami Krishna in this movie, but
Hmm.
I guess like
Yeah, I
maybe
said
for
mine.
like nostalgia factor they had her in because her and Rajini had like a history of like films together, so they probably
Hmm.
put her in. But yeah, that's all.
Well, you put her as a positive, right? So what did you have to say?
Me, I thought she had a good like they had a good comedy track, but like she was gone in the second half. Like I agree with you guys saying, but I thought when she was there, like the comedy track between her, Rajnikant, and the grandson, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, if so, I guess if we talked about everything, we can give our ratings and then why we rated it that.
Yeah.
So I can start. I mean, I gave it a 6.5. Once again, I think like the reason I'm coming at it is I know it sounds hypocritical, but whenever it's like a superstar movie, I have no hope. Whenever it's sort of like tier one hero movie, you can't expect like unfortunately you can't expect layered characters and stuff like that because it's that's come to that point, right? I don't remember the last time Mahesh Babu movie. There's one in Ocarina. It was the last time he had layered
Last
characters.
one. Yeah.
That was a decade ago. So
Yeah.
I'm rating it with like if this was not Rajnikant, any other actor, it's probably a 4 or 5. But the fact is, it is a Rajnikant movie and it entertained the shit out of me. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5, purely for the hype factor, the elevations, the BGM. It's just one, it's an experience. It's not a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give it a I was gonna give it a 7, but same reasons. Like I enjoyed watching Rajni and I enjoyed Anirudh's BGM. The hype scenes were enough like to kind of win me over to like the movie overall. But I can see how like if you weren't able to connect with that stuff, or if you weren't like a Rajni fan, or like I don't know, if you don't like, watch enough Rajni movies in the past or whatever, like you might not connect with it because the movie on of itself, like on its own feet, does not stand. Like it as a script, as a story, like it does not stand alone. It's purely based on Rajini's hype and like the other like actors' hype. But yeah, overall, like I did like it though. So 7.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.5 as well, like Akil said. I think the movie was good, but I think the negatives just took off like at least 3.5 points. But like you guys were saying, it's not like a RR type movie that like anybody across the world could understand. It's sort of like just region locked to India and people who know Rajnikant. So I think like the audiences would only be the ones who watch Rajnikant movies as well.
Gotta stop that. They gotta stop with the slow mo shit going forward. I already know we're gonna see it in Jawan, Salar, like OG, but seeing the hero walk, yeah.
I don't know when they're gonna learn that like having that many slow-mo shots is not like cool. I mean, yeah, you use it properly at like certain points, it'll make it cool, but if you overdo it, it just gets like nearsome for the audience to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah, because KGF and Pathan sort of popularized it again.
Yeah.
Even though I like KGF movies, I think like the slow mo shit is just there's only so many times I can see, the Hokum BGM with the glasses at the side like this, right? There's only so many times I could bear
Or like
that.
or like Rajini walking like somewhere with the
With the
hook
uncle walk, yeah, with the hands behind the back. There's
just
only
like dad shoes.
yeah, there's only so many times, but hopefully we'll see the change. But yep, that
Yeah.
was a review, and I think we'll be able to. I think there's a lot of movies coming out. There's Kushi coming out, Joanne, Solar. So our bank accounts are gonna feel it, but the podcast will get some content as well. So see you guys on
Yeah.
those.
About these reviews.
All right, yeah. All right. See you guys.
You guys
Shit.